Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome back to Technically Speaking Live, the Wednesday 8 p.m. edition. We are back in the 8 o'clock hour, and when I say we, I say me, because there is no stats today. It is just me running solo on the show, so I'm taking these earbuds out, because I'm going to keep them plugged into the Rodecaster Pro, just in case I want to do an adult skate later on. But what's the good word, everybody? How we doing? Hello to Shelly. Hello to Kathleen out in the comments. Thank you so much for stopping by. As I put out on Twitter, Stats is yet again on vacation because that's all Stats does. And Kathleen made a good point to talk about. Thank God he's not on payroll. That man requires way too much vacation time. I think he does more vacationing than he does work. Not 100% sure. And I'm fairly certain that I'll be making fun of him today quite repetitively because, I have stuff to talk about, but there's really not a whole lot of stuff that's out there at the moment. Right now, there's a whole lot of stuff talking about what WWDC, which is the Worldwide Developers Conference from Apple, coming out next week, June 7th to be exact. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. We're going to talk about Huawei Harmony Os, basically creating the Android version of Apple's iOS. Airdrop for Android, Amazon Sidewalk. Yikes! How much did you spend last year in apps or in the App Store last year? That's what I want to know. How much money did you spend in app? I'm going to talk about how much Apple says it helped facilitate, and it's a lot of billions. Going to talk about how we have big brains and a big ass fake sun. We're going to do all of those things today. Should be super interesting. Tech King Mike, what's up? What's up? Welcome back to the show. Been a long time since I run one solo. I got to be honest with you. It's going to be different. Should be fun. Going to be a lot different. If anybody wants to buy a OnePlus 8T, $400. I've been putting it out there. I have a person who's going to buy it or said they were going to buy it, then they ghost. And then they come back, and then they ghost again. So, I guess that's what it's like out there in these Twitter streets. Jeez, I don't think I can be single, getting ghosted all the time. I have a complex at this point. All right, let's talk about Amazon Sidewalk a little bit. I put out a video yesterday that talked about it. Amazon put out a white paper that said, "Hey, it's really secure." What? It's really secure. We go through triple encryption and do all these whiz-bang awesome things. Now, if you watched my video yesterday to talk about Amazon Sidewalk, it is effectively sharing your network for people to use little bits of your network for their specific Amazon devices. Think Ring, think the Dots, the Echoes, all those things. Check out my last video to talk about it. Opt out. It's just straight up opt out. I'm a little skeptical when it comes to the data protection. I guess from that perspective, yes, I know that Amazon published a white paper. I'm just, I have a hard time. Look, they're pretty sketchy when it comes to their employee safety and stuff like that in their warehouses. So I'm gonna be a little skeptical when it comes to their data protection. And we've also seen people hack Teslas. So it's just a matter of time before people figure out how to do this too. When you are in the cloud, the old saying pretty much rings true. The idea of it's not a matter of if you're going to be hacked, it's going to be a matter of when you are hacked. I would rather not. I'd rather know there are things where I can specifically see that are connected to my network. And I'm not really about that life to where I'm going to just freely open my network up for people to do things with. I'm not so worried about those people, so to speak, but other people connecting to their stuff, which connects to my stuff. It's again like that whole third-party data sharing agreement. I'm not really about that life. Really don't like it. I know Alex is out there in the comments. It's like dial-up speed. That's not the point. Definitely not the point. So for me, it's like, I would rather know, like, if I don't know exactly what device is connected to my specific network and what it's doing, I would really rather not. I want to make sure that I know exactly what is connected to my network. That's just my personal preference. That's what I'd really like to do. So Yeah. Stats goes on vacation so much. Next time he heads out, I'll fill in for a. Hey, dude, I would love that. Anytime you let me know. That's awesome. Kathleen says $0. I don't do in-app purchases. Really? You don't do any in-app purchases? You don't do any purchases at all through like a Play Store or App Store or anything like that? Okay. LaShawn? Scoop! What's up, ball? What's going on, y'all? Yeah, so Amazon Sidewalk is a little bit of a pass for me. And quite honestly, I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to do with all that. I don't know how I feel about creating effectively like a mesh network in my neighborhood where I don't have a Ring, I have a Nest doorbell, but if my Nest doorbell needed the internet from next door because it needed to work, I don't know how I feel about that. Like me personally, I don't want to do that. Like it's not for me. It's not for me. Miss Sheila, thanks for coming by the show today. Stats always goes on vacation, Mike. So needless to say, you'll probably be needed as a co-host in like just a few weeks because he goes on vacation all the time. I swear to God, the man never works. Never, ever works. Let's see. What else do I got? Huawei Harmony OS. So let's talk about what Huawei did. So look, I love Huawei devices. I love the fact that they create beautiful looking phones and the cameras are just dynamic. They're just phenomenal all the way around. But they have obviously been kind of like blacklisted in the US, and Google flat out will not be providing Google services on the Huawei devices. But that did not stop Huawei. They created something called Harmony OS. Now, Harmony OS, it looks really familiar, like really, really familiar. If you were to go out and look at their brand new tablet looking thing, let's see if I'm trying to find the story that I pulled up. The new tablet here it is. The 10.8 inch MatePad Pro and MatePad 11 look a lot like iPad. I mean, a friend of mine had one. I asked him, I was like, hey, show me what the settings menu looks like on the Huawei using Harmony OS. And dead serious, it looks exactly like Apple's Mac, or it's basically exactly like, not Mac OS, but iPad OS, the settings menu. I mean, exactly the same. Even in the upper left-hand corner where usually it says like Apple ID, it says Huawei ID. Like looks like a copy paste, and they just changed Apple. They just did like a copy replace from Apple to Huawei, and then that's it. Even like the main page looks like it. The wallpaper looks like it. It looks exactly like iPad OS. And you can see it. Like, let me see. I'm going to drop this comment. I'm going to drop this in Gadget. Here we go. Drop that link right there. You can go out, look right now, swiping down from the top on the MatePad Pro. Same exact situation where it looks like on Apple. Swipe down from the upper right-hand side, and it pulls down like the settings menu, like the quick settings. It looks exactly the same. Big boxes. Yo, and I think MKBHD actually came out with a video today talking about basically when a phone is copied from another person, because ZTE did something else, copied Samsung or something like that. I didn't watch the video. But yo, what are we doing? Gee, sorry, I gotta take a drink. Huawei's ready to move away from Android. Yeah, evidently they're moving straight to iPad OS. They're gonna go just straight to it. The company's rolling out its own operating system. They're going to be using the Kirin chip. The Kirin chip is basically like a Snapdragon 870. Rather than the Kirin chip, the smaller Pro tablet's going to have a Snapdragon 870 in it. And the 12.6-inch MatePad Pro is going to have a 90% screen-to-body ratio. The iPad Pro alternative boasts the Kirin 9000 processor, 8 speakers, 4 microphones, 3 rear cameras, including time of flight 3D. It's going to be about $783 or 4,999 yuan. Yuan? Yuan? Yuan. Yeah. I see LaShawn out here just trying to stir something up. But the bigger YouTubers always say companies should steal from each other. It's a true story. They do say that. I mean, it looks a lot. It looks a lot like iPad OS. I mean, it looks a lot like it. Don't be surprised. Look, anytime those companies sue one another, though, this is the biggest issue I have, is they go in, they get into these courts, and they get into a pissing mass. What? It's not even here. I can't even blame him. Pissing match with each other, and like, they just get caught up in courts for years and years and years, and nothing ever comes out of it. It's literally just nothing ever happens. So I don't know about that. Huawei, I'm not sure what you're doing. Although, Huawei, if you do want to send me that folding phone thing, I mean, I wouldn't say no. But I do love me some Google, like the apps. I would be lost without the apps. I really would. Speaking of apps, and I talked about this before, Kathleen mentioned it. I said, how much money do you spend on in-app purchases, or how much money do you spend on either in-app purchases or purchasing apps through like the App Store, either that Apple App Store or the Google Play Store or the Google Store? How much money do you spend each year? Take a wild guess. Let me know in the comments what you actually think you spend. Don't count movies. No, I guess you could count movies. I don't care. Either using the App Store, tell me how much money you spend. I would guess that I would spend several $100s because I buy movies and stuff. I also probably buy camera apps and all this other crap. Like I spend probably way more than I care to admit on that. The reason I bring this up is last year there was a report that just came out. Apple says consumers spent $600 billion, $643 billion to be exact, over like within the in-app purchases or purchases of software or digital goods from the apps distributed through the App Store. So, 600 billion. Let's just use that number. 600 billion. I don't think super chats count. So, I don't believe anything unless you count. I don't believe anything unless you count super chats. I'm just going to assume, like, let's just think about Apple for a second. If you purchase an app, if you use the App Store at all to purchase something, anything, whether that's the purchase of an app, the app itself, and then you buy stuff through in-app or whatever it is, all of it. That's what I'm talking about. If you use an App Store to facilitate buying or purchasing something, that would count. So I don't know if you facilitate. I wouldn't guess that you would facilitate anything like that, like a super chat through an App Store. I don't think you would. Does Amazon purchases through the Amazon app count? No, I'm talking about like either you would use the Google Play Store to facilitate a purchase, or the Apple. I know I said in-app, Alex. I'm reading you the story. Just listen to my new words. Profits from in-app purchases or purchase of software or digital goods from apps distributed through the App Store. If you use the App Store to facilitate any purchase, that's what I'm talking about. Apple said consumers spent $600 billion. Oh my God, you guys are killing me. Yes, they are different. Count them both. That's the long-winded version of me saying, just count both of the damn things, whether that's in-store purchases or in-app purchases as well. Count them both. Consumers spent $600 billion last year doing both of those things. And that means Apple takes a cut of 15% to 30% based on the type of purchase. Look at that. 15 to 30% of the facilitation of those purchases. That is $90 to $180 billion in just helping facilitate App Store purchases. $90 to $180 billion in just the App Store. That doesn't count anything at all. Nothing in terms of selling hardware. Nothing at all. And I had to look up what Google's was. In the year 2020, the digital content platform Google Play generated gross revenues of nearly $40 billion through mobile apps. $40 billion. So that means, and so I don't know if that 40 billion is the 15 to 30% like the Apple one was, but still, the point is Google or Apple is making double and then some on that money. So when you hear that Apple is like, oh, all this great, blah, 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 all hell breaks loose when Stats goes to vacation. Let's be honest here. Stats didn't do anything anyway. Stats did nothing. Nothing. I carry this show. This is what I do. Alex, I don't know if it's just iOS. Dean, welcome to the show, my friend. All it talked about was Apple facilitating purchases through the App Store. That's all it said. It's still, that is a freaking lot of money. $90 to $180 billion facilitating stuff through the App Store. Sheesh. That is a lot of money. Boatloads and boatloads of money. I don't feel bad for Apple at all. And I still use Apple products. I get it. Like, I totally understand what it is. I am Team Pixel, obviously, all the way. But, man, that is a lot of money through apps. Whew. Keeping with the Apple theme, what to expect from WWDC, which is June 7th. We are expecting things like iOS 15, and they're allegedly going to update notifications, which means they will suck less than they do now. Let's be honest, iOS notifications are definitely worse than Android notifications. There's not a lot of things that Android gets right when we talk about it compared to iOS for the majority of the masses. However, notifications are definitely one of those because the way that Apple handles notifications, hot garbage, awful in my opinion. The way that I despise looking at all the notifications on an iPhone. I have the OCD where if there's a single notification, it drives me insane and I have to figure out how to not have it, turn the bubbles off or whatever. I can't do it. I just cannot do that. Drives me insane. I'm also the same person that when someone shows me their phone screen and it's 5,432 emails. Why do you do that to yourself? Why? What if you miss one of the important things from the 5,000 emails that you have? What's wrong with you? Why are you like that? Gross. Ooh. And then I saw what Josh, my friend Josh Smith over, I don't know if I'm supposed to say where he's at, but Josh Smith over where you can find him on the internet, has 99,000 emails. And he's just like, hey, look at this. It's really, really cool. Nope. Hard pass. What are you doing? No. Dean says, not an hour ago, my wife gave me her Pixel 4a as a spare phone. That, sir, is a phenomenal spare phone. That could be a daily driver easily for the majority of the people. Easily. What's up, Barry? Team Pixel, we are here. We here. Team Pixel, always. Email over 1,000. Nope. God, why are you guys like this? 6,000? What? Why? Why would you do this? No. LaShawn, why? Why do you do this? I will say that Apple's notification sync is way better. Love that I don't get 9,000 notifications if I haven't had a device in a while. Once again, Michael, you come on the show and I disagree with you. I don't really have a good reason why. I just I don't agree with you. Just cause. That's cause I want to. WWDC, again, notifications are going to be bad. iOS 15 might include a new privacy menu to where you can see exactly what data apps are collecting on you. Suck it, Facebook. Suck it. Too bad. So sad. Don't care for that. Don't mind at all. Go for it. That's one thing I will say Apple has done really, really well. Although I will say, a lot of people don't agree with me. Apple likes to talk about how great they are at security. That doesn't mean other companies do it worse. Facebook does, because that's a fact. But other companies don't necessarily do it worse just because they don't talk about it. And specifically, I'm talking about Google. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Some of these things you can talk about, like I can go check right now in my Pixel and turn off certain things that apps can see or use. Like I can say, no, don't use my camera. Don't use my location. Don't do that. Like that's it. I don't have to have that. I've had that on Android for a while at this point. They don't talk about it. Like they briefly mention it in the very average way that they talk about some of the features on Android or Pixel, but they don't market it the same way that Apple does when it talks about privacy is my big key thing and blah, 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 blah. Like other companies do that same thing too. Don't let Apple fool you. They're not bad. I don't know if they would be the best, but they sure like to talk about it, which is fine. So another thing that we're expecting from WWDC, not necessarily a hardware event. Everybody comes like talking about like, oh, we're going to get a new MacBook and blah, 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 blah. Bloomberg's Mark Gurman says the two computers could arrive by early summer, a new 14 and 16-inch MacBook Pro. He's saying that the laptops would be Q3. Looks like Q3 is probably what it's going to be. What about Mac OS, Big Sur, or Mac OS 11? Maybe, I guess Mac OS 12. Let's see what else they got. Devices that will likely support iOS 15 and iPad OS would be the 6S, 6S Plus, and anything older than an iPhone 7. Oh, wait. Meaning that anything older than an iPhone 7 would not be supported with iOS 15. So 7 and beyond, 6S and 6S Plus would not, although they were launched in 2015. Okay, I guess that makes sense. Let's see. Let's go back to the comment. Oh, I want the arrangement of Android notifications for sure. Yeah. I just hate when I pick up my Wing the other day and I have like 1,500 notifications come through in for an hour. That's really weird. I don't think maybe I've just not noticed that it's a thing that happens. I don't know. Like I have a lot of devices on my desk, and I guess I just don't think about it. They don't all, like, the one thing I do hate, this is my own fault though, because I have so many devices, is like when I get a duo call or something like that, all the devices explode. Like, oh God, I don't know what's going on. Like, okay, chill out, because that's a lot of devices that are blowing up at one time. So I just pick one up and answer, and then they all stop. So I guess that's good. Google knows all. Alex, I swear. Alex, are you trying to just poke me? What's going on here, bro? Talk to me. Mike, I am ready for the new MacBooks. I have toyed around with the idea of getting a MacBook Air M1, 16 gigs of RAM. I have toyed around with the idea. I continuously try to tell myself to buy it. I also want to buy a new car. I also want to buy a new camera, and I also want to get a Sony phone. And I've done none of those things. I keep telling myself that I want to buy stuff, and then I don't, because laziness typically just takes over, to be 100% honest. Laziness takes over. That's what I want to do, but I don't end up doing any of those things at all. However, I do believe, I got to tell you, if you put the M1 in a 16-inch MacBook Pro, that's a big MacBook. But look, think about it. A 16-inch MacBook Pro, M1, 16 gigs of RAM, give me just modest 500 gigs of storage. Whew. I would like that. That would be really nice. But however, I don't want that sketchy screen that they have on right now. Ooh, sketchy screen. I don't know if I want that. Okay, so that's what everything going on with WWDC. Dean, we did talk about the Watch Pro. Or no, I talked about Huawei. I did not see the Watch Pro coming out of embargo. I still rock my Fossil 5E. Still a great little watch. I love where they're going with the OS when it comes to Wear OS. I love it. I love it. I love it. How I don't understand this, Alex. What are you saying? How do you think they are Google is the number one? I don't know what that means. I want Google to separate the assistant phrase for different devices, so my speaker doesn't answer when I'm trying to see the weather. Look up the definition on my phone. That actually is. I don't disagree with you on that. That actually works as intended, though. So the way that the Google Assistant works, I know I've explained this before. Michael, I apologize if you haven't, or you're hearing this again, is if you are in a room full of devices that you can say that keyword and they'll all pay attention to you, they do all pay attention to you, and then whichever one can give you the answer the fastest, they typically respond. That's how that's the intended uses. So if I have my phone, I have a Pixel Bud in my ear, and then a Google Home Max over here, whichever one can give me the answer to my query the fastest, that's how it's supposed to go. Now for me, I have a lot of those big G devices in my home to where they could constantly run over each other. I gotta say, like, maybe a handful of times, less than 3% of the time, for all of the OK keywords that I give out there, they give me answers in 2 different rooms or 2 different answers. Like almost never happens. And I constantly use the assistant to answer those things. So like my guess would be that is by design. Obviously, I don't know if they're ever going to get away from that keyword though. That's really that's starting to be baked into their marketing and the whole 9 yards, even though hey, they could turn around and market it different because they barely market it as is now. I really wish they would market it more. People should be using the assistant way more, in my opinion. The Fossil Gen 6, dude, don't even wait. Go out and get that. Go out and get the 5E. It's totally worth it. It's absolutely, it's a beautiful little screen. The assistant works well. The one thing I don't like about the watch is I don't want the sound on all the time. And to get answers from the assistant, you have to have the sound on because it has a speaker. I'm sure there's a way to get around it, but I don't actually know. Some things they respond when you don't want them to. That's really rare for me. Like extremely rare. Sometimes I'll say something that sounds like okay keyword, and then they'll respond with something stupid. I had that the other day where I said something, Stats was here. I said something, it had nothing to do at all with whatever the response was back from Google. I look over my shoulder to make sure that the assistant isn't listening to me. It had something to do with like blue hound dogs or something. But again, that's so very rare that it does that particular thing. Gonna keep on the train as we go through carrying the show every week. I've earned my PTO. Okay, clearly Stats is actually out there watching the show, or at least he just happened to watch for one single time when Kathleen made a comment. So his big dumb face made a comment on Twitter. You're still on vacation. Go out to the beach, or just, you know what? Do me a favor. Start walking in the ocean and just keep going. Just walk the whole damn way out. You tell me when you reach bottom. You call me when you reach bottom. Let's talk about Airdrop for Android. Airdrop for Android, we are getting super close to Airdrop for Android. We have Nearby Share, which is actually something that you can get on the Pixel devices right now, since I use Pixel. You know what? Can I get that on Samsung right now? Can I get Nearby Share on it right now? Cool. I don't have any charge. Anyway, I'll check it later, but Airdrop for Android in Chrome 91. So Chrome 91, the new Chrome OS 91. They are getting closer. Nearby Share, revamped media experience, and more is coming to Chrome OS 91, where we can do sharing images and transferring files between your Google devices, which has been a pain in the butt starting today. And this article came out 8 hours ago from Android Police. Nearby Share with Chrome OS is the answer to AirDrop. You can seamlessly send and receive files without sharing your contact information, keeping your transfers private. That is awesome. Absolutely love it. Barry says, Pixel, Xiaomi, Samsung have Nearby Share. Perfect. Jason, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Let's see. I got the GT2 Pro for now, waiting on the Pixel Watch. Ooh, yeah, I know, right? That Pixel Watch, awesome. I would love it. Scared my wife the other day when the Google Hub Mini answered, and I was trying to ask my phone something. The far field microphone, see, mine just listened right now. They're all going crazy. I don't want it. Shush. Shush your face. Okay. Sorry. Could have got a little awkward. The far field microphones picked up from the hallway. Thought it was hilarious. I use the broadcast feature to each of my kids' rooms, which is hysterical. Love it. Love it. Nearby Share is on Samsung. 49% out of the box, 39% a day later. I don't know what you guys are talking about, but that sounds awful. Whatever it is. Let's see. Barry, I missed you until Peachy said something. What's good? What up? All right, let's go back to it. So I think we're finally seeing the Android ecosystem start to come together with those things that always made leaving iOS hard. That whole Nearby Share thing. Although that's going to be a really hard sell because AirDrop, unless I can use Nearby Share on my MacBook or on a Windows PC, that's where you really start to get people. In my opinion, it's cool on a Chromebook. Don't get me wrong. I do love a good Chromebook. That's all fine and dandy. But the big thing for me is when I can start to use it using already existing ecosystems in my space. How do I get a photo from my Pixel to my MacBook using something like AirDrop? That is going to be the big key for me. If you can figure that out, then a lot of the stuff starts to fade away as the whole I'm basically golden handcuffed into staying in the Apple ecosystem, in my opinion. If I can just start sharing my devices or sharing my photos and videos using Nearby Share, NFC type stuff, something with a very, very easy, simple UI like they do with AirDrop. Look, that's a lot of the things. If you can start shedding that, that would be huge. That would be a huge get, in my opinion. Here we go. Okay. Some of the older versions of Chrome had Nearby Share built in. I'm synced to the iPhone. I'm pairing with the M11 to get more faces and the app. Mike, how do you like that Mi 11? I've been trying to figure out how to get a Mi 11 Ultra. Obviously, I've sucked at it because I still haven't figured out how to get one, but I really want to know that. Anyway, going back to the Chrome ecosystem. Again, I like the idea of it. If we could figure out how to do Nearby Share on a Windows PC, or I guess that could be the Chrome OS. Now, I guess here's my next question. What if, here's a thought. This probably would be helpful if I read the articles, what I'm getting ready to talk about. I know it says Chrome OS 91, but what happens if they could figure out how to do Nearby Share using a Chrome browser, not the OS, like not baked into the machine? Like if I log into Chrome OS on my work MacBook, maybe there will come a time that I can use the Chrome web browser on my Mac OS, on my MacBook, I don't know why I said that, on my Mac, to then share those things to the web browser. Ooh. Now that would be really sweet. Think about that for a second. think about that. You would basically, if you had Chrome at all on a Windows, Linux base, on anything, you could just share through the web browser. Videos, photos, anything. Now that, to me, that would be a huge get for Google, because then at that point Jesus, they use Chrome on iPhones. That would be dope. Whew. Okay, so now I'm going to, everybody's talking about the Mi 11 being awesome. So it's a skinny, Mi 11 is a skinny version. I can get the Mi 11 Ultra from GizStop. What is that? All right, I'll hit you up in the DMs after that, because I kind of want to know what that is. Mi 11, okay, Mi 11 versus a Pixel, though. Some of those comparison videos that I want to do. You know me, I love those comparison videos. I use Snapdrop to share my Android phones to my Mac. I totally get it. There are ways to do it, but I guess what I'm saying is a very intuitive way that Apple does it is I pull it up, Airdrop, blah, that's done. What if you could do that with a Chrome browser? That would be, like Jason said, that would be game-changing for Chrome. Honestly, I believe that. And if they can bake it into the Chrome OS, I'm beginning to wonder if we're probably way far down the line for this. Is like, how would you do that via the web browser? I don't know. I'm sure there's a way. I'm not that smart. You do that, then you start to really solve the issues of, well, I can't get, I'm stuck because of AirDrop. I'm stuck because of iMessage. You can get messages online. Get messages right online. No issues at all. Messages.google.com. Works every time. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. Okay, I'm going to get off that train there. AirDrop, WWD. We all have big brains. Now, this was one of those things. Like, these next two articles, it's just like, holy crap. I don't know if this is the beginning of the end, the beginning of the beginning. I saw them, and it made my brain hurt. LaShawn says, sorry, I'm a Pixel head, but the M11 is wiping the Pixel. What? Okay, hold up a minute. Hold up a minute. Wiping the Pixel except for software and cameras, of course. Bro, those are two really important parts. Software and cameras? Like, okay, cameras, sure, like that's really, really important, but software? That's huge. That's the majority of the phone. Unless I'm not understanding you right. I love you, LaShawn, but it's like, hey, you know what? Mi 11's great. It looks good. That's awful. It's like a big-ass brick. I'm messing with you, LaShawn. You know it's nothing but love. Yeah, Adam, homeless Conor McGregor is in rehab again. He's actually down on the beach asking for money from seagulls. True story. He's actually fighting and going caca, caca at them, or whatever seagulls do. So, yeah. Anyway, we all have big brains. Huge, massive brains. We all knew that the human brain, I'm going to drop a little science on y'all asses here in a second. I was reading 9 to 5 Google, because of course I was. And Google helped Harvard researchers. What? Oh my God, she's listening again. No. Stop it. Quit. I love you, but no. Go away. Making this awkward. Jason, I am taking donations. If you want me to take donations for homeless Conor McGregor, I would. I suppose. Sure. I'll buy him a coffee. I'll sell you some money so you can get him some fresh cardboard when he gets out. I already ordered some packages from Amazon. I'm just going to repurpose that, but I'll take your money. I'll tell him that you got him those cardboard boxes, though, but then I kept the money. You know what? I bailed him out a couple times already. You don't want to see what he's done to go to jail. It's not pretty. I've seen him at his lowest, and this isn't it. It can go lower. So aggressive. Anyway, we have big brains. Google helped Harvard researchers develop a tool to basically do sequential high-resolution images of the central nervous system using science. Science. Okay, so let's talk about this up because I simply didn't know. I said I wanted to know. Okay, let me back up a second. Google helped map 1 cubic millimeter of brain tissue. 1 cubic millimeter of brain tissue. Excuse me. Okay. And that 1 cubic, oh my God. Thanks for the super chat for homeless Conor McGregor and his meth addiction. That's true. It's very true. His teeth are just wrecked. You guys don't even know it. His teeth are actually fake. Fake teeth. And the only reason he keeps his complexion that clean is because, he typically, sorry, I have to keep the show available to be watched. I'm trying not to get demonetized. Woohoo! So he does things to try to keep his complexion fresh, keeping it that way. Anyway, going back to the big brains. 1 cubic millimeter of brain tissue. They did this data set with Harvard. This is what Google did. And they found that this 1 cubic millimeter was 1.4 petabytes of information. 1.4 petabytes of information. The 1 millimeter depth would require 33,000 images, each with 10 to 20 gigapixels or 1 petabyte of data. 1.4 petabytes to be exact. Talking about visualizing, identifying neuronal, I didn't even know that was a word, structures and their connectivity to one of the largest scale visual computing problems. So I had to look up, well, how many cubic centimeters is the human brain? Because I don't actually know. It's bigger than 1, way bigger than 1. And depending if I even did my Googling right, it's like, the average male is like 1,100 or something like that. I don't even remember at this point. I'd have to look it up again. But needless to say, it would be many, 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 many petabytes of information to just map the human brain. If you want to see I actually have the article pulled up. Maybe. Had the article pulled up. Let me just give you the live show. The live show link, let's see, copy. And that way you guys can watch it. Look, if you go to Google, 9 to 5 Google, you can find it. It's super interesting. I love that stuff. A petabyte, yeah, exactly. A petabyte is 1,024 terabytes or gigabytes of information. The human brain is incredibly complex. So if we were to just use the 1,100, we're talking about several thousands of petabytes of information because holy crap. So, and that to me is really astonishing. But on top of that, so we're mapping brains over between Google and Harvard, and over in China, they're making an artificial sun, a nuclear fusion reactor that has set a new world record after running at 216 million degrees Fahrenheit for 100 seconds. It also achieved a peak temperature of 288 million degrees Fahrenheit, or 10 times hotter than the surface of the sun. 10 times hotter, not the surface of the sun, 10 times hotter than the sun. They're hoping that this will unlock powerful green energy for quote-unquote limitless clean power. What could go wrong? What could go wrong, I ask? And that's hot. Like, look, I swear to God, that's probably really close to the temperature that it was in Florida the last time I was in Florida. It's pretty close. But could you imagine that? 216 million degrees Fahrenheit for 100 seconds. Their goal, they said that they want to have it run at like 216 million degrees Fahrenheit for a week. That's solid 100. Ooh, scoop a solid 111 degrees as I got in the car. Woo! Just a few degrees shy of what they were trying to do over with the artificial sun in China. Sounds like peak 2021. Can't wait to die. Yep, that's what's going to happen. Again, I get it. Look, I am all about the clean energy. I got a video coming out, a video series with actually OWC Larry, the CEO of Otherworldly Computing. And it's going to be great, but ooh, that's exactly right. Dr. Octopus did that in Spider-Man 2. And look what happened to Dr. Octopus. See? He did it. I'm telling you what, we're going to have our brains mapped, and then we're going to have fake sun. We have unlimited clean power, where here's what we're going to do. We're going to map our brains, and we're going to put them in machines, and then we're going to power those machines with little tiny fake suns that run in their chest. I feel like this was a movie. Not 100% sure. It's going to be a great movie idea. This is what we'll do. We'll call it an arc reactor. We'll put it in your chest. And then little tiny, not tiny robots, guys about my size, robots. We'll call it the Iron Legion. And we'll send them out, and they'll be perfect to provide tons of support. What could go wrong? There would be no such thing as an artificial. And here's what here's what we're going to stop. We're going to stop Amazon Sidewalk from happening with our Iron Legion of the fake sun chest guys, because we've done all this electron microscopy, not even a word, just made it up, where Google mapped all of our big brains. So they're going to say, okay, keyword, and then they're going to stop using the Iron Legion. No, nothing. Dr. Octavius, not Dr. Octopus. My bad. But wasn't he just known as Doc Ock, though? I don't know. It's been a long time. Man, that's a good Spider-Man, too. I've heard they're coming back in the MCU. That's what I'm hoping, at least. But that's what we'll do. We'll call him the Iron Legion, because no one's ever created that before. That's totally not a thing that ever has happened in that. And so we'll send them around, and we'll stop Amazon Sidewalk from creating their super evil mesh network with all of their Echo Dots trying to run it. That's a terrible idea. That's awful. I don't know why I said that. Let's see what else I got going on with the show notes right now before we wrap up. I'll be honest with you. I can't believe I actually talked for 50 minutes by myself. So I guess the real question is everything will be balanced and burned up as all things should. That's right. Everything needs to be balanced. Everything requires balance. Everything as it should. Let me just put it out. Solar panels with a few thousand storage cells when you activate that. So I have electricity for a few lifetimes. It's true. What could go wrong? What could go wrong, I tell you. But let me ask this for the folks that are still out there. Should I allow stats back in the show? Should I run the show solo, or should I allow stats back in? That's really the great one. Maybe I'll put that out on Twitter as a poll. Should stats be allowed, or should I relegate him back to just faceless stats where he doesn't actually get to be seen? Ooh. So we either go no stats or faceless. So we could go no stats, stats with no microphone and no face, stats with microphone and no face, or just bring the stats back. I think I'm going to put that out on Twitter. I think it's a good idea. I always knew you were full of hot air. That's true, Jason. Always full of hot air, but nothing but pixel love. Hot air and pixel love. That's what, maybe that'll be the name of my band. Hot air and pixel love. I feel like that's a good idea. Let me go to the Google News, and we got a new version of Windows on June 24th. No one cares. Facebook doubles down on business tools with WhatsApp API updates, so you should delete Facebook. Free stats. Say more about that. You're saying he should be back in like no problem at all. Look, I don't take vacation. I'm here mostly every Wednesday until I'm not. Oh my God, I got to tell you guys this. I was so angry about this. Last night so this is truly how fat I am. Last night I was in the drive-thru at Dairy Queen. In the drive-thru at Dairy Queen at 8:45, 15 full minutes before they closed. Just, playing on my phone, doing, what I'm like, all right, I'm on my phone, I'm waiting, I'm biding my time, getting up there, right? I get to the machine, I get to the speaker where I'm about to say, "I want this," and they play the automated message, "We are currently closed. Please come back tomorrow." I was the first car of being shut off. The car in front of me, whom I graciously let have the spot in front of me because I was a good neighbor, was the last one that got a chance to get Wendy's. Not Wendy's, Dairy Queen. I wanted a Blizzard. That's what I wanted. I know I don't need it. And evidently that car in front of me also knew that I didn't need it. But I wanted it. And I'm really upset that I didn't get it. So here's what I did. I was in house slippers. So I went to the gas station down the street and I got ice cream cones, like just not the same at all, not good. But I was getting that ice cream. Come hell or high water, I didn't care. And it wasn't good. I was just poor life choices. I really wanted Dairy Queen. And I say all that for I don't know why. But I wanted to tell you guys I was really upset about that yesterday. And I don't know why. So, okay, folks, I'm going to do something I normally don't do. And I'm going to end the show early. Jason, I agree. We need to keep him grounded. You need him to keep you grounded. Oh, that's not how I read that. How I read that was, I'll keep him grounded, like go to your room. That's how I read that. not something positive stats. That's not how I read that. No, I did not get my Dairy Queen today. I should have, but I was actually quite busy at work. So I didn't get a chance to do that. How much different? So that's actually a great point. The shared Wi-Fi thingy, that is a bit of a difference because what Apple does is like if we use that token thing, somebody in the comments is going to help me because I can't remember it off the top. The AirTag. Jesus. So the AirTag works by basically pinging other iPhones, which I have another huge problem with. And a couple weeks ago, we talked about this when Stats was actually in studio. I took an AirTag and I put it in his truck. And he did not know that I had put it in his truck. Now, I was going to be with him. It wasn't something like I was trying to catch him in anything. And we drove around town, and I told my daughter to take my iPhone and follow me. Like, basically, she stayed at home, and I said, do screen recordings, screen grabs, because she knows how to do all those things. Tell me and text me when you see me at different places. And so we went to a couple places. We went to a couple stores. We went to a very big orange box store for home goods, Home Depot, just to see. A lot of people there have iPhones. Sure enough, it worked. You could literally easily point to the fact that we were at Home Depot. Here's the other kicker. Neither one of us had iPhones. Neither one of us. We both are a Team Pixel. I left my iPhone at home on purpose so it wouldn't ping me. You could theoretically follow somebody with an Android device, even if they don't have an iOS device or a MacBook or anything like that. And that is a problem. I have a significant problem with that too. And I don't know how Apple's going to get around that. I don't even know if they've addressed that yet. And that's why I have a very similar problem when it comes to what Amazon's doing with Sidewalk. You're right. It's very similar, except with Apple's, you're using the massive Apple network to do the same thing. I'm curious to see, is Google going to do the same thing? So where I'll have to eat crow is where if Google does something like this, or they're doing it right now that I'm not aware of, where I'm going to be like, this is the greatest thing ever, Team Pixel, then I'm going to have to say how big of an idiot that I am. Because I don't like that. Like, I don't like the concept of the AirTags because of it. I know somebody would say, well, what about Tile? You have to be in the app to do things like that, except now Tile is going to count for Amazon. So that makes me yuck. I guess I don't even have the Alexa app on my phone. So does that mean I have to download the Alexa app on my phone to then opt out of having my Tile track me on other people's networks? I don't think I like that at all. No, thank you. So anyway, that's how, Bradley, thank you so much for the comment. All right, y'all. I'm gonna end it early. I did not get my Dairy Queen. I guess I have 4 minutes to go to the Dairy Queen if I wanted to. Apple has a blooming problem with iPads. They are worried about stalking issues, but they're not worried about stalking issues. Oh, is this the bloom where the LEDs are like the lines are on the outside or whatever? I know what you mean when you say blooming. It's the LED bleed or whatever. I'm assuming maybe you meant bleeding and not blooming, or maybe that's what it's called. Light bleed, I think that's what it is. All right, y'all. You can find me at Scott Peachy on Twitter, at the Scott Peachy on Instagram. Yep, I say delete Facebook, but yet I'm still on Instagram because I'm stupid. And appreciate you guys coming by. This is great. Thank you all so much for stopping by. Appreciate all the super chats. I don't know what I'm going to do with stats yet. I don't want to be grounded. Maybe I don't want to be grounded. I want to fly off the hinges. I want to go all Dobo on everybody. All Dobo all the time. Oh, Lord have mercy. Everybody be great. Have a great rest of the day. Appreciate each and every one of you. Bye.